years ago, United Counseling Service was formed. It was called United because it united a couple of agencies together.
The two agencies came together to create the United Counseling, and there were still kind of a growth and integration going on.
Initially, a lot of the mental health centers grew out of hospitals, and there was a fairly close relationship with the hospitals at first.
Deinstitutionalization was taking place in the late 60s, early 70s, and there was research that supported the idea that these institutionalized programs were not meeting the needs.
One of the things that happened was the deinstitutionalization of both the Brandon Center and the state hospital.
Deinstitutionalization was a movement that recognized that better treatment, including medication and counseling, allowed folks who might have been in hospital settings to not need that hospital setting.
It was a very important step to be taken. It really did mean that a local community had to have the resources to serve that population.
As more people came out of the hospitals and in the institutions, we grew. We grew in number and I think sophistication and demand and challenges.
There were many clients who, when I first came, worked in the sheltered workshop along with the developmentally disabled over in the BCIC building in Bennington, and actually North Bennington.
A lot of our services, the vocational services, the sheltered workshop, was a mix of people with different diagnoses.
They were able to close Brandon down in 1993. And we developed 2 group homes beyond the 2 we already had to meet that need. One Autumn House was built in around 93 or 94, and then the Gatling House was done in 2003 or 2004.
And research has shown what we might naturally figure out, which is that working with folks in the community, in their homes, in natural settings, promotes better care and a better relationship.
It just opened up a whole new world to these clients, and many people were amazed that people who had been for 2 or 3 years in a psychiatric hospital could move from a situation like that, where they were totally dependent on everyone else for their total care, to a situation where they are living by themselves, they're going to a job every day, they're cooking their own meals, and they're going for medication management and some counseling for support.
In 1966, there were 1,200 patients at Vermont State Hospital. Right now there's 40. And most of those folks are in their home communities being provided services by mental health centers like ours.
So it's played a tremendous role in providing better services at reduced cost for Vermonters.
We were able to, over the years, really demonstrate that it was cheaper to have people in the community. Not only was it morally right, but it was also economically better for the state.
One of my favorite memories of being on the board of United Counseling Service was when we were deciding about doing fundraising for a facility, the facility that we currently have. We got consultants to do a feasibility study about whether we could raise funds for this facility. The consultants said, we want to tell you it's not feasible for you to embark on a fundraising project at this particular point in time. So I looked at John Halpin and John looked at me, and I said to them, so what do we have to do to make it feasible? This was in May, and in September we embarked on our fundraising and got the funds to build the building that we have now.
Even though it was a hop, skip, and a jump from the hospital, helped a great deal. And I think that was perhaps an unnoticed achievement, or perhaps it's been highly noted.
Having a separate structure gives something that people can visualize, and it happens to be a very beautiful building with land around it, and I think that also is a plus for the community.
There was a real willingness on the part of the board to provide the leadership to bring about the change that was necessary in the organization.
It's been a very visible process and therefore public in that way. Watching us grow, moving from 1 or 2 buildings to 16, I think we have now.
As we expanded our services and our programs, people began to see the value of what the agency had to offer and all of the different areas in which we were working. It was always flexible in terms of being able to respond to the needs of the community, but also to the changing ideas within the profession.
I think it's been just an amazing transition in a fairly short period of time, and I think it's been really nice that United Counseling's been able to provide the leadership in the Bennington community for that.
Oh, you want me to sing ya? The beginning of it. All right. The one and Mrs. Lady, Mrs. Bellow. When, oops, I forgot.
That's good. All right, that's a wrap.
No, it's not, no, it's not even a rap yet. It's, the Brady Bunch. The Brady Bunch, then became the Brady Bunch. Da 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 da.